Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You're the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate that on this fine Tuesday. On this fantastic Tuesday. Hello, everybody. Welcome. How you doing? I'm live here on YouTube. Appreciate you tuning in. Got a nice show ahead, I think. I want to talk about what's going on with the Senate. A little bit of politicking. Some pretty interesting stuff going on. They passed this bill, all this foreign aid, but the Americans are left behind. I want to talk about that, some interesting stuff, insights and all, and even beyond some other stuff. We'll get into all of it. And your calls, 888-775-3773. I'm live here on YouTube. You can follow, subscribe, do what you will if you want to support the show. I'm also... for the first time, I think, maybe I was yesterday, it's unclear, but I think it's confirmed, I am on the listen line. So I know people have been asking, if you want to call the listen line number, I think you can listen to my show now. 1-641-793-1500. If you're out and about, what does Jesse say? If you're out and about, if you're getting high on fentanyl, you know, but you want to listen to Nick Stream, and you don't want to use data, which is cheap now, but I guess you're homeless. I guess you're high. You got to spend it on fentanyl. You could call the listen line, 641-793-1500. Very cool. Very cool. Nick Stream, what are we doing? American Anchor Baby. I'm live on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. They're talking about many things. They're talking about the Senate bill. I want to get into this. But first, there's where slavery is making a comeback. Nick, whiter than Hake. Hold up. Are you talking about the lighting? It's this lighting. They made the blacks look amazing. I think I look okay. I don't think I look bad. I don't know anything about lighting. See, I gotta open up that box. I'm just got obsessed with AV and all this fancy gear that I'm learning and how to output stuff nicely and everything. Lighting's a whole nother gambit. I got to get into that. I haven't got to open up that Pandora's box. I really don't know. I think this is better though. The blacks in this studio look amazing. This is BS. Thanks, Jib Jab. But I'm just saying, man, they did a little bit of favoring, I think, with these lights. Nobody is whiter than Hake. What's up, Eric? Nada, Nikki, Carver, Kaya, Linya Chen. How you doing, sir? The magnanimous and genteel Linya Chen. Even if you're getting decapitated in Ukraine by a crazy Muslim. This is true. But anyways, enough of the favoring of a certain pigmentation, of a certain soul-having, melanin-having type person, people. I'm not mad about it. We can move on because slavery is making a comeback. And I don't mean to sound so excited. I'm just messing around for people who are sensitive. Slavery might be making a comeback. That's what people are saying. They're taking in these migrants, okay? White Massachusetts woman who took in black Haitian illegal migrant says it's like having your own personal chef. It's really fantastic. And I'm going to show you this amazing footage here. Let us watch some of this footage, huh? The Haitians, if you were French Canadian. Okay. Bingo, bango, bongo.
Story you'll only see here on NBC 10 Boston. A migrant family from Haiti is sharing their experience. They're searching for shelter in the Boston area and then recently found a host home in Brookline. And now they're looking for jobs. As NBC 10's Aaron Logan reports, they say these last few weeks have been life-changing. And
it's been an emotional few weeks for 𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 Joseph and her husband. First, sleeping on the floor at Logan Airport. Then in Children's Hospital with their 2-year-old daughter who got very sick. She felt bad, as any mother would. Now,
wait. Es muy difícil. Es muy difícil.
Things are looking much brighter as they've been welcomed into Lisa Hillenbrand's Brookline apartment.
Tu niña es muy alegre ahora.
Sí, muy alegre.
What? Muy alegre.
Cuando se levanta en la mañana, se dice, ay, Lisa.
Oh.
Cuando se levanta. Yeah, it's Lil Nick. What's up, y'all? Hey, why is this lady speaking Spanish? Why are you speaking Spanish? I thought you were Haitian. I thought you were Haitian. Do they speak Spanish in Haiti? I don't know if there's a large Spanish-speaking populace in Haiti. Maybe I'm wrong. She looks Haitian. We might wonder. Now, what does a Haitian person look like? I don't know if I could describe that, but just looking at her, something tells me she looks Haitian. I don't know.
She says her daughter is very happy. When she wakes up in the morning, she says, hi, Lisa, and everyone starts the day smiling.
Yeah, I thought Haitians spoke French. Eric? What's up, Eric?
It's a delight, and it's really fun having them. What I realized is there's so much prejudice against refugees, mostly because people don't know them.
Oh,
Lisa says she feels like she has her own personal chef, as 𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 loves cooking.
¿Te gusta la ocupación?
Sí.
In fact, her goal is to open up her own restaurant.
Quiero tener mi propio restaurante.
The couple has their work permits, and they've been taking English classes.
Yo cualquier trabajo va a hacer para guardar mi dinero para hacer mi futuro.
They're open to work.
They speak Spanish like badly. Like it's not like they speak in the Spanish a little funny.
Anywhere to save money for their future. In the meantime, they're enjoying their time with Lisa, their new friend for life, and their daughter's new grandmother.
Se abuela mi niña.
They are hardworking. They want to learn. They want to be successful. And I feel great helping, and I get to understand the refugee crisis from the inside.
Lisa says she's so impressed by the number of people she's met right here at Brookline Town Hall meetings who've been stepping up and hosting families. She's hopeful more will do the same in the coming days and weeks. In Brookline, Aaron Logan, NBC 10 Boston.
All right, the need for...
Okay, thanks. That's enough, Brookline. That's enough out of y'all, Brookline. What the heck did we just see? I just kicked it off with a dirty one here. Why is she speaking in Spanish like that? She looks Haitian. She's speaking in Spanish like it's not her original language. Maybe it's the only way. Maybe it's the only way to overcome the language barrier with Americans, whose official, what a shame, whose official, de facto, de jure, or somewhere in between, secondary language is Spanish. Maybe that was the only way they could hop the language border. I didn't mean to do that. Maybe that was the only way they can make it happen. By some degrees of separation. We can meet in the middle with some Spanish. What a mess. This sounds like what a Haitian francophone would sound like when speaking Spanish. And this white woman's so happy. Lisa, Grandma Lisa. Oh, yeah. My listen line may not work today, huh? I got bogarted, but that's just because we had Jesse yesterday doing a taping at 12 o'clock, so we might have had to turn it off. Dominican Republican speaks Spanish. Maybe she moved there for a while. I was thinking something like this, like something Boricua happening here. But the face doesn't fit. The face is like, it's like fitting a square peg through a circular hole. It's like speaky Spanish, but don't looky Spanish. Okay, but whatever. Maybe I'm just a racist. Look, this white woman here, Lisa, Grandma Lisa, it's a delight. It's really fun. They want to learn. They want to be successful. The shame about that is that it's probably true. They are like, usually these first generations are quite enterprising, ready to work, willing to work, save up, scrounge up, and make their life. And maybe Lisa's judged. I don't know what she's doing, Lisa, but maybe Lisa's judged her fellow Americans. There's plenty of them who need help. Maybe Lisa sees them as lazy and they're not as enterprising, as hardworking as these people. And they're not only that, but they're racist too. They hate these people. They're prejudiced, like she says. I feel great helping. That's all it all is, really. I feel great helping, and I get to understand the refugee crisis from the inside. This is the problem with these old white women just getting into politics. Stay out of it. You start thinking like you're on the inside. You're on Twitter. You take in a refugee and you're like on the inside. Lady, that's like a relatively nice Haitian family. That's not the crisis from the inside. That's not what's really going on. And the poetry of selling out, of facilitating the woman, the white man's woman, facilitating the browning, the diluting of this country. The poetry. And really how she's out of control. Where's the white man telling her to shut up? And you don't help. That's not helping, right? I see your calls coming in to 888-775-3773. That's not really helping. It's a big mistake. We pretend to help. It's a defining central defining point, whatever, English. I'm barely monolingual. You guys know this. I'm barely mono. They say I know so many languages. I'm barely monolingual. I'm trying to say this feeling bad and helping in this wrong way is a central point to our politics, to this American social religion of being a good person. Okay? It's a central tenet, being this helpful person to. It really is a perversion of all those words, of the word sacrifice, of the word good, of the word helpful. It's a true perversion of it. In a sacrifice where I guess you'd help someone, you take a bullet for someone, where in this case, it's a posturing and going prostrate to an enemy that hates you out of a misplaced sense of nobility, like you're a good person for helping the disadvantaged. Okay? Very feminine, very female. That's what the world offers. That's what America offers. That's what Republicans offer. If you notice, there is no real answer from the men, the conservatives. It was a really deep show with Joel there. If you missed it, Joel Friday TV, you want to catch that episode. What do we really offer? I want to get into that later. But yeah, the free Haitians, they're saying they're free Haitians. They say, get your free Haitians now. Biden administration, free Haitians. Oh, I love Biden. I was wrong. I love Biden. I love the Biden administration. Great. But for who? I'm just having a laugh. I'm having a little laugh here. What's up, Alpha Male? Hey, what's up, Point Fire? Rome, how you doing? I'm just having a laugh here, but they're having a big old laugh too, right? Free Haitians now. Get your free Haitians. You're going to want your free Haitians. But are we allowed to deal with our Haitians extrajudiciously? Should we need to? Anyways, that's down the rabbit hole. We don't need to go there. I'm just messing around, okay? I'm happy the white man ended slavery. Although I might benefit from I'd benefit from slavery. I know I'm messing around. I know some might cringe at that joke. But I think without being enslaved by Jesse Lee Peterson, I may have been a lost cause. I still might be a lost cause, but I have a fighting chance thanks to being enslaved by Jesse. I mean, working for Jesse Lee Peterson. What's going on? YouTube saying I'm not receiving video information. Am I still live? Something just happened? Test. Folks, allow me a moment here to make sure that I'm streaming because everything seems fine over here. Fellas out there in the office, let me know what's going on with my stream because I just got a little announcement here saying YouTube's not receiving video streaming. Muerto. Master Jesse beat Nick on the weekends. I mean, work for him. That was a joke. You're good. Fellas, still live. Looks good. Okay, all right. You are streaming. Okay, thank you, folks. I'm at work for him. Kevin House, stop trolling me. Kevin House, stop trolling me, man. When I see your chats, I'm gullible. Kevin House in my head sometimes. Right on. Okay, well, appreciate it, everybody. We're live. Hey, what's up, Jules Verne, Ohio Sentinel over there on Rumble? What was I saying here? The free Haitians. Get your free Haitians. Yeah, funny stuff, okay? We're done with that. I got a super chat here, kind of about this. Carver, thank you for the super chat. YouTube don't like Nick Pro beating Haitian slaves. Is that my official position? What's up, Brennan? Thank you for your super chat. Says the Senate passed a $94 billion bill funding wars we haven't declared. It's almost like our credit card was hacked. What a good point, Brennan. I mean, fine statement there, Brennan. More of that feel-good religion of America. Helping in the wrong way. Although, it's not really just that. It's really evil people maintaining false wealth and power. We're going to get into that. I want to get into the news here with this foreign aid bill funding these wars. Thank you for your super chat, Brennan and Carver. Nice. You can also buy me a coffee if you don't like YouTube. Buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. And I see you, DLive, dlive.tv/Gorgonzola. So you know about this Senate aid bill, okay? Ukraine dead, says Zenny. Pro-Haitian. Look, we're going to leave the beating Haitian slaves mess, okay? We're going to get back to that. I think we can table this one, okay? Appreciate that, though. You know, the Senate foreign aid bill. Senate passes $95 billion package. You heard about this. And this has to do with an ongoing battle over the border. You know about that. But this kind of, besides it being a major issue for decades, maybe, this is an ongoing battle that we started following this at least with Kevin McCarthy, September, Kevin McCarthy. And the Republican holdouts, okay, they were holding McCarthy to some promises that you got to work with us. You can't be a rhino or else we oust you. That's exactly what happened, in fact. They were able to pass a continuing resolution that November to keep the government funded until early 2024. This was a big controversy. McCarthy siding with the Democrats in a backdoor deal, they called it. Mike Johnson became the replacement. More fighting ensued. The saga continues, okay? The Senate this morning, in fact, passed the new legislation, okay? And this is after the Republicans were fighting about this broader bill just last week. And this bill had to do with the same thing. Border provisions for border security. And we'll talk about foreign aid and Ukraine and all this. And it was supposed to be bipartisan. This big bipartisan bill that came together. And freaking Langford, that little alien looking. Is it Langford good? I don't like him. I'm sorry, I'm still salty about the online comment. What do you think? We're gonna let in 5,000 people? You bunch of internet conspiracy theorists. Little alien-looking guy. But anyways, the bipartisan bill that Trump told the Republicans not to back. So that died. And so now this is the news. This morning, the Senate passed a $95.3 billion foreign aid bill with assistance for Ukraine and Israel in a vote early Tuesday morning, setting up a showdown with the House as Speaker Mike Johnson has criticized the legislation. The bill includes $60 billion to support Ukraine in its fight against Russia, $14.1 billion in security assistance for Israel, $9.2 billion in humanitarian assistance for Gaza. CNN doesn't write that. I'm sure they wrote it somewhere else. And $4.8 billion to support regional partners in the Indo-Pacific region. So China, like outside of China area, Taiwan, and policy provisions according to the Senate Appropriations Committee. Great stuff. The bill's fate in the House is unclear, as Speaker Mike Johnson suggested he might not bring it to the floor for a vote. In the absence of having received any single border policy change from the Senate, the House will have to continue to work its own will on these important matters, he said in his statement. Yeah, so it might not even go to the Senate, to the House, right? It's got to pass both. So it's unclear if this will just die dead on arrival, right? It's a little suspect. They trying different ways to get the aid, because that's really what's important. If you're taking anything from this, it should be that the will in the United States Congress exists for these wars and not for us. That's clear. Duh. Mike Johnson wants to fight this. He's saying, you guys aren't even giving us a single border thing. So we'll have to continue to work its own will. The House will have to continue to work its own will. And, you know, vague terminology, political, whatever. What can you extrapolate from that? We'll wait and see attitude, right? But I zero in on this language, too, because maybe Mike Johnson himself might not understand. But the will he's talking about, the House that the will has is the same will. It's the Republicans, the Democrats, the House, the Senate. They want this money for Ukraine, for Israel, for these wars. There's reasons, people have speculations. I think some reasons have been made clear. I think, and we'll get into that. They've said it in plain English in some instances. But but it remains that they've at least shown us where their will is. That's clear. So that should be settled. 888-775-3773. A little more patience for those holding. I will get to you. Johnson is not against funding Ukraine. He said that he tried to pass a standalone bill for Israel, if you remember. So he wants to get that done. If it's going to be by his will, so be it. I don't know. Whatever. So another border bill, like before bringing the 95, before the foreign aid, we'll do the bill. So I guess with Johnson, it's a matter of order. And then we'll see, right? I guess we'll see. History settles every account, McConnell said in a statement. And today, on the value of American leadership and strength, history will record that the Senate did not blink. Here's your will, folks. Your will of your Republicans, of everybody there. Okay, so you following. You know what I'm saying here. And Langford, I sneer and grit my teeth at this alien. Can I show you the alien? I want to show you the alien. So that you too may feel the visceral emotions, which are evil, that I'm feeling. Langford, Senator, Republican out of Ohio. Or is it Oklahoma? One of these O's. He's a big old... Anyways. Langford. This alien-looking guy. Look, this guy was telling us, what, 4, 5, you really think we're going to let in 5,000 people, like we're going to be cool with that? The bill, he was saying, like, wait for the text, huh? Wait for the text. The bill text, you internet weirdos. The bill's a mess. It came out. We have the text. The facilitated catch and release. This 4,000, 5,000 people thing I keep talking about, it's called the Break Glass Emergency Authority. And that's still there. The secretary may, and it puts this in quotations, may. So the secretary may or may not use this break glass emergency if there are 4,000 or more aliens encountered each day. So that's 1.46 million a year. Unaccompanied alien children are exempt. So you can let in as many of those as you want. Langford, alien Langford here. Maybe I'm too hard on Langford. He's a married man. He seems like a fine person, maybe. He seems to be totally fine with all these children. I don't know. Why do you want all these kids coming over, man? They're all unaccompanied, and they're exempt. More than 500,000 of them have come under Biden. Where are all these kids? They're not leaving. Where are they? What are they doing? 500,000 unaccompanied children over the border? That's what's going on. Non-Mexican unaccompanied children are not counted. And obviously the kicker is Biden gets to... Oh, not that again. Biden he gets to suspend the whole thing if he wants to, if he so chooses. He could just be like, I don't feel like it. Creepy stuff. Don't know. This happens all the time with this stuff. I guess we shouldn't be surprised, but you push these bills forward, it fails. What happens? The baddies seem to get their way anyways. They say, we're not going to do anything until you put this in there. And then they say, and then the Senate or whoever's in control, they go, okay, well, then we're just not even going to put it in. Bye. And we'll just, we were going to give you something, but now you don't get anything. The point here is, I guess, what's concrete here is their motivation, okay, and what kind of will exists in Congress. That should be clear. In the House, the Senate, the will is to fund these wars, okay? The will is to fund NATO, expand NATO, and keep all that going. No matter what, keep going, Ukraine. Keep going. You got it. You got it. The border, the people, America, not a priority. That's clear. Anyways. It really is seeming like these things I'm hearing about America having a real competition on the other side of the world over there. And America's reaction is, well, we got to bomb them. It really does seem like that, huh? Or is that Russian propaganda? Voting Republican, voting Democrat. This fight with Trump, this fight with 2024, 2020, January, all this it's about our sovereignty. It's about the people. That's clear. Just trying to point out the obvious here for those that are not following. For those who need to catch up, this is a fight for our sovereignty, the will of the people, okay? Duh. Until then, though, nothing else is going to work. A voting Republican, Democrat. The red wave, government bills, debates. I don't know. I'm 100% behind him, Senator Tommy Tuberville said of Trump. This is in reference to the comments about NATO. Now, if you remember, Trump was getting a lot of negative attention over saying that NATO members should be paying their dues or risk Putin invading their country, okay? You got a lot from Republicans, Democrats, the media, all across the board. This guy's a wild person. He's totally okay with Putin invading Europe. Senator Tommy Tuberville a Republican. He says 100% behind him. The Alabama Republican also suggested European allies should be very worried about an invasion, saying they should protect themselves and not rely on the U.S., adding the country can't protect everybody. Now, I don't know about Tommy Tuberville. I don't know if he's cool or not, if he's a rhino. I don't know much about him. I forget. He's not exactly wrong, right? People should be able to defend themselves and not rely on the U.S. Like Putin said, this one-sided security framework is not working. We got to all be involved here. We got to all be safe. Whatever. That's besides the point here. That, in my opinion, when these Republicans, they're talking about he's 100% behind him because, yeah, Putin's going to invade. It's more of that NATO talk, more of that war talk. Invasion. I mean, if anything that RFK said yesterday in that video, this war should have never happened. This war should have never happened. NATO, Putin tried settling it on very, very positive terms for NATO. But if you don't know the story, it was that further encroachments of NATO where it was a red line for Russia. It was crossed and supported by Republicans like McConnell. Mitch McConnell said, don't worry about the money going to Ukraine. Don't worry, the money is going to American defense manufacturers. Plain English. They're in that same Congress, saying in English that your taxpayer money is being laundered to these American defense manufacturers who are the same people who got the same contracts to rebuild Ukraine. It's all a scam. Anyways, you guys get it. You guys get it, right? And I'll get to calls here. But I like what he said, though, about defending themselves. Because this includes money for Israel, right? It's even more money for Israel. And look, they got that war going on over there as well. And this is not Ukraine and Russia and NATO. This is their own geopolitical mess. But honestly, they can defend themselves personally. They got problems and they got to deal with it. And I don't even blame them for dealing with it. Imagine if we had a unruly populace at our doorstep that, or even within our borders, that hate the native population or and they don't want to work. They just want to bomb. But they can defend themselves. Look, the European custodians of the world, I've said this before, after the world wars, after these crazy world wars, they paid it in blood and money and bombs and everything. They were the winners and the custodians of the world. They left the world how it is. They carved it up. They gave Jews Israel. Too bad, so sad. Okay, they paid in blood. Now it's been long enough, in my opinion. The Semites, they can defend their own place. All this military and political deception and games and working in our government and when we got our own problems and money and laws, more aid. Look, more aid for Israel. We got problems. Enough of that. Semites can defend themselves. You got it. I'm just trying to also say that I'm sick of anyone really, but the Palestinians crying like, this is our land, this is our land. No, the Europeans won the wars, and they carved it up, gave it to the Jews. You want to undo that, you got to have another war. You got to fight it out. I don't know what you got to do. But that's how it is. That's how it is. So I don't want to hear this crying about, it was our land. Maybe you have points about civilians dying. I don't know. They say a ceasefire is what's needed. I can't tell you. I honestly don't know. But what I can tell you is they got all these Palestinians in Rafah, apparently. Maybe I gotta show you a map here. Maybe I gotta show you a map. The Gaza Strip. Okay. This is Rafah. Rafah is over here. Rafah is the last city before the border of Egypt. Okay? In this Gaza Strip. And so they've been fighting up here. If you see my mouse, they've been fighting, bombing, pushing them down. Now all the remaining people in the Gaza Strip are down here in the city of Rafah that borders Egypt. They're going to finish them off and push them into Egypt, and they're going to become refugees, and America is going to accept them. Or something like that. And that's a problem. And when we're talking about our own Congress, our House, and everything we just talked about, you can totally see the pathway to citizenship for these Palestinians. It's there. It's in the cards. You can see it. So that's a mess. I don't know what to tell you. But the problems are at home. They really are. The problem is in the home. In our own home, with daddy and mommy, the Democrats and the Republicans, and the House, the House of Representatives, but our home, the country, and the homes of Americans individually. Okay, anyways. What else about this? Because I got a call here I want to get to. What else do we got to say about this? Yeah, that's what I got to say about that. What a mess. 20 to 30K people offed is a lot. Who is that? Gaza? Is that the Palestinians? Pretty messed. All that over there. Pretty messed. Very violent. Hard to trust a grown man who goes by Tommy instead of Tom or Thomas. Funny stuff. It's hard to trust a man who calls himself a baby. Anyways, we're going to move on, I think. Yeah, where's Europe's reparations, Carlota? We got calls coming in. 888-775-3773. But I think Biden is valid at the cookout. And we'll get to that. But first, I got Eric out of Long Island, New York. Thank you, sir. You're on the air.
Hey, what's going on? I watched your airplane show on Saturdays. We actually spoke about Biden getting the questions at the press conference.
I remember. Thank you for your call, Eric.
Yes, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I love the show.
Thanks, sir.
So, you talked about a bunch of good stuff. Terrible, but the one thing I was going to say is that, so for the immigration process, and I think we touched about this a couple of days ago, is that, it just occurs to me is that I come from immigrants from Ireland and Iceland. My parents are first generation. My sister-in-law emigrated here from Poland, got her citizenship, and I worked in the service industry my whole life. So I've seen the whole gamut of immigration. And why didn't we make an Ellis Island on the border about 35 or 40 years ago on the southern border? So if people decide to come over the border, get a number on them, and have a path to citizenship. So my question is, who's been benefiting on the free labor?
Oh.
Or the reduced price labor?
For the corporations, firms, and really any politician, Democrat or Republican, that's lobbied and paid by those corporations and firms.
And what scares me is I was actually speaking to a professor of mine, and we still keep in touch, and he is completely off the reservation on the left. Like on steroids. And one of their philosophies is that with the national debt, the more people that we add to the population, that the national debt drops. And he said that you can keep printing, theoretically, you can keep printing money as long as you keep adding people to the population.
Dang. That is interesting.
Yeah. And I don't think people are really talking about this, man, because it's like, it doesn't serve a purpose to add these people to the country. So why? Let's scratch our heads. Let's think about the money aspect, and if you are an illegal immigrant, you come over here and let's say you get, a job for Los Santos or something like that, and you're spraying corn in a field. And, you can't complain about your job. It's almost like legalized slavery, where it's like they pay less, they pay half the wages, and if you complain, it's like back to where you went.
Right.
So it's legalized slavery. It's, because we outsource all of our labor to India and to China. So we're almost trying to bring back that to the United States, but we're doing it.
But don't call it legalized slavery. Because it almost makes it seem like it almost makes it seem like Like it's too lenient to the it's really a consensual it's two parties consenting to rob from America.
It's not no one put a gun to their head to come here from Central America and to take that job. I agree with you completely. I am a
Well, you're making so much sense. Go on.
So yeah, I mean, and you know what, and that's what the thing is. You should be able to have a conversation like this where you can actually say your thought, and I can say my thought, and we don't go crazy because we need to have a conversation, So, and then another thing is, you want to talk about Haiti and the Haitians coming here. It's like, there's an old saying: if you put snakes in somebody's bed, it doesn't mean that they're going to crawl out of that person's bed and crawl back into your bed. Look what the Clintons did to Haiti after the earthquake. That place.
What did they do?
So the Clinton Foundation was in charge of giving all the aid to Haiti. So I forget what year it was, like maybe 2010, 2014. I really don't remember the year. So I just saw something on it the other night. So Bill Clinton went down there and he was doing deals with Haiti and stuff like that. And then the earthquake hit and the Clinton Foundation was in charge of giving all the aid, stuff like that. And guess what? The money was coming through, but nothing got fixed.
Wow. Not surprising.
Have you ever heard of that?
I never heard. I've never. I don't know. I mean, it might be common knowledge or something, but I just personally never heard anything about that. But there were similar things with like Puerto Rico and all that. We keep giving aid, and we're just enriching these corrupt people. What can I say?
Yeah.
Thank you for what you're saying, though. Before you move on to something else, thank you for what you're saying, because I've been trying to sort of, what am I saying here? I've been trying to kind of but to kind of illustrate what you're saying here, because it's what it seemed like to me too. But I don't have the facts to back it up, but abstractly, it seems like you got a pyramid scheme. You got the government trying to keep Social Security, trying to keep all these things going because the native population is not replacing. And instead of dealing with that, instead of having a heart of an American and loving America and wanting just, even if it takes some pain, even if it takes some shrinking, but to care about America and Americans, to make more Americans, they're just like, no, let's just import more. We'll just replace them. That's what it seems like to me. And it sounds like you have some evidence for that. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You know what? That's a great point that you bring up, dude. It's it's like you always look at who benefits. So Puerto Rico, Haiti, where there's smoke, there's fire. The Watergate scandal, that was also another pyramid scheme by the Clintons. And who knows if this stuff is completely true, but they have their fingerprints all over it. And I wanted to touch on real quick about what you were saying about the package with the $6 million package to Ukraine. Okay,
yeah,
this is the last gasp of a laundering scheme, the largest laundering scheme. So, like, you get the pandemic, which I think was a huge laundering scheme, and then now you have Ukraine, which is right in front of our face, laundering scheme. So you're going to give $6 billion to Ukraine, and if anybody has
60
shook hands, I'm sorry,
60.
Okay, so if anybody's shaken hands with a history book lately, if anybody knows about Russia and the way that they fight wars, is they throw bodies at war the first year. So Russia, they empty their prisons, they get these guys, they get these hooligans and stuff like that, and they throw the worst out. And it's called the meat grinder.
Wow.
And that's what they do. They meat grind. So if you look at World War I, they're using the same tactics the Russians as World War I. So they throw bodies at it. If you look at the losses in the beginning, Russia was losing people just like crazy. Now
I've read about that.
They were just saying the other day. So now it's 2,000 to 2,000 dead Ukrainians to every 10 Russian soldiers.
Whoa.
And now the Russians are sending in their best. And now they're methodic. They don't think in, we think in 4-year election cycles. The Russians are playing the long game. The Chinese are playing the long game, bro. Like,
of course.
And NATO's been encroaching for a long time. So, I wish Tucker Carlson got more than 8 words in during that interview so we could, see more into the brain of Vladimir Putin. But yeah, man, the world's on fire, bro.
But we can be okay. I'm seemingly okay. Maybe it's because I'm ignorant, but I can't seem to freak out. What a mess. But thank you for your call. Thank you for bringing some insight into into some of the things I've been trying to illustrate here.
Well, I appreciate it. And just one last thing is that I see all these shows about what's wrong. And I'm not talking about, this has nothing to do with your show.
No, please go ahead.
In general, no one's talking about answers and solutions,
Yes.
man.
I was thinking the same thing this morning, man.
We really got to start moving in the way of, okay, so the body's in the road. It got hit by the car.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about this body for the last 2 hours. The quicker we get him to the hospital, he's going to be better, right? Like, we're sitting there and we're watching this thing die in front of us. And we're like, I don't like this. I'm seeing too much Taylor Swift during the football game. Wake up, folks, okay? And God bless America.
Appreciate that, Eric, for sure. I was thinking the same thing this morning. We might even be able to get into some of that in the second half of this show. Call me again, Eric.
Have a good day, man. Thank you.
Right on. 888-775-3773. Biden is valid at the cookout. Then we'll get right back to calls. This is silly. Someone posted this, and they posted this with the caption, "Wait, is this real or is this AI generated?"
Well, man, you got chicken fingers. You got the whole deal. I went the route of making sure I had the hamburger. So tell me about you guys. What you doing these days?
Why don't you share about your passion in sports?
I'm playing AAU basketball right now.
Are you really? Are you guard?
Yes, sir.
Now, what grade are you in?
7th grade.
7th grade.
Right now, I'm just doing basketball, playing guard on the JV team for my school.
This is real, folks. This is not AI generated.
About the school, how y'all doing in school? You should tell the president about the school.
Favorite thing about it is the business academy I'm in. You get to travel, so we've been to NC State, Wake Tech, and
You're kidding me.
Yeah, we went to this small dry cleaning business, and it's cool. It's a great experience.
I love Biden.
I'm impressed. Is that a new program at the school?
Yes, sir, it is. It just started just a couple of years ago.
You know how much this guy loves you. You just feel it, can't you?
Yes, sir.
Your dad jumped in front of a bull for you. By the way, we dads are hard to raise. Once you're a teenager, we're hard to raise. So you gotta be patient with us, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
A little patient.
You gotta be patient with the dads, youngins. Okay, they're learning. They're still learning. Be patient with the dads. Okay, they don't have the internet like you. They don't. Be patient, bambinos. They don't have Google like you. You gotta be. I love Biden. You know what we should do? We should find a nice black family and have some chicken with them. It's real pandering, says Reese. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's total pandering. It's lame. And if I was like a black person and a voter, I'd wonder, well, what's with all this pandering? It's ridiculous. But that's besides the point. I think sincerely, that's probably, you see those young boys. Seems like a dad who I saw boys only. Nice young black family. They were in school, sports. Seems like a pretty positive thing, though. You guys are just poo-pooing the pandering. Okay, we all don't like the pandering, but you gotta love Joe. Gotta be patient with the dementia patients. You know, Joe Biden seems like he was supposed to be like the person you control, I guess. But he's walking off stages. He's making it look bad. He's like, dang, he's saying, I don't like Bibi Netanyahu. He's saying these damn Jews. Yeah, Biden is just uncontrollable. Biden is on one. And Biden is valid at the cookout. Pretty presidential, if you ask me. All right, we're just having fun. I got Kenrick out of Texas. Thank you, Kenrick. You're on the air.
All right, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, Biden's a man of good taste, man. You know, he eat the chocolate chip ice cream, have a little fried chicken. Like, I could kick it with him.
Yes, I agree. I would love to be at a cookout with blacks and Biden. That would be a fantastic weekend.
Yeah, no, but so what y'all were saying about the immigration thing, I actually think I got some solutions for it, and I have something I wanted to say about it, too.
Right on, man.
Is that theory that I was saying about how you can just move people in so that way you can keep printing money. Like, that's all fine and dandy. But the thing about it is it looks at humans as a good in and of themselves. And the problem with that is if you like move like gold or money or currency or inanimate objects, that's one thing, right? But when you start moving people, people have motives, they have interests, they live lives, and they have cultures and stuff. So when you start moving a whole bunch of people just so you can print money, it isn't just like a widget. It's a dynamic thing that changes the environment it moves to. And that's like
a
the
fair
inherent
point.
problem.
It's a fine point.
You know?
I think people who are doing that,
Yeah.
I think the people who are doing that are thinking just like that. And they're just bet the other way. They've just bet, you know what? It will be okay. We can manage it. It'll be a manageable. It'll be, and then suddenly America's Haiti. It's like, okay, well, maybe we didn't manage it.
Well, yeah, when you look at it on paper, it's just numbers and stuff.
Right.
But then when you see it in reality, it's a totally different thing.
Yeah. They're playing Sim City with us, man. That's exactly true. They're playing Sim City and we're just a bunch of numbers.
For solutions, it's, have you ever heard of the white man's burden?
I have. I've been meaning to read it, though. White Man's Burden. That's the poem by Rudyard Kipling.
Yeah, I mean, we got to get back to that type of thinking. It used to be just a saying, too. Like in Africa, when the British were out there back in the day before they got ran out, you know, you're going, you see these primitive people, but, hey, there's a bunch of resources. So the idea was, okay, we'll go out there, we'll build some infrastructure, these people will get jobs and live in a better part, like their world will develop and it'll be good for them, and then we can extract resources and it's good for us. Likewise, as you make the global south a nicer place to live, whether it be Africa, South America, or whatever, it also keeps them from migrating up to us to get free shit. So if you can just
The sun is still up, Kenrick. Let's leave the swearing for Fridays. But okay, go on.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's kind of like, unfortunately, you know, a lot of these people in the global south are, I hate to say, they're probably too low IQ or just not culturally developed. So it kind of is like a white man's burden to go out there and develop it for them.
So when you say we need to return, when you say we need to return to the white man's burden and all that, you're saying white man needs to
colonialism, essentially
needs to like colonize.
I mean, China's kind of doing it. Yeah, China's doing it right now. It's a better foreign policy than just
China's trying to do
money.
Yeah, well, people have been fighting over Africa for a long time. They're still doing it, and the U.S. is in there, and China and the U.S. and Russia and the grand, the grand players in the world. They all have a hand in Africa. They have a hand in the Middle East in some areas, right? So all these players have been trying to do that for a while. So. Yeah, I'm just wanting to respond to you a little bit here. White Man's Burden, Rudyard Kipling, poem by the man who wrote the If poem. Very fascinating poem if I remember some of it. But I think here, let me play a little devil's advocate for you. Maybe what's going on now is the continued white man's burden. Like the story hasn't ended, is what I'm trying to say. You're saying let's go back to white man's burden, but the white man's burden continues. And out of this misplaced wanting, they're still trying to help. They're still trying to bring good around the world. And out of that misplaced love and perversion of Christianity, the problems continue. I don't know, I'm just kind of rambling, but I'm responding to white man's burden here.
Yeah, slightly, but I think it's more of a kind of neglecting of, I don't want to say necessarily responsibility, because they're still, you're right, they are still trying to help, but the way they're trying to help now is by throwing money at the situation, which is totally different than going over there and colonizing them.
But they did, but the white man did do that. The white man the white man has countless, right, that's different. You're talking about colonizing and you're talking about when the white man, when the British Empire expanded across the world in large respect, that's different than from when they left the infrastructure and told the people there, all right, you guys got it now. And the white people have done that countless times and it doesn't work.
Well,
so I don't
know.
When
they stayed there, and like, for example, when they were in South Africa, things were actually pretty good until, like, it started getting all commie and all that. I mean, you can see the South Africans now, they want the white men to come back. And, well, not necessarily, they'd have that one guy saying kill the board, but a lot of these African countries, like, they weren't able to keep the infrastructure once the white men left. They don't do the maintenance. They don't do the farming.
Right.
It's like they just loot everything.
You can't force people to love God.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You have to stay there and kind of lord over them in a kind way.
Maybe they got to find God themselves and not try and force people to love what they think God is. Because they got, look, you're saying colonize, let's be white man's burden. Let's bring it back. Colonize the world.
Mm-hmm.
Colonize the world with what? With weak males, gay, like.
That's so true.
Maybe,
I know what you mean.
maybe read the
West.
if poem first. And I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to, I guess, I'm talking to men, I guess, white people, or I don't know. Maybe read the if poem first, then read White Man's Burden, and then realize then like kind of take it all in. I don't know what I'm saying here.
No.
But interesting call, man.
I kind of get what you're saying.
Definitely, you kind of get me a little bit.
Oh, yeah. This is like, I get what you're saying. People always talk about, like, oh, the West is dead, or we need to revive the West, and all this other kind of stuff like that, and, maybe colonizing or whatever, but it's like, with what population? Like, things just aren't, the people aren't the same. And I know what you mean.
Those were the white men that made America.
Yeah.
But it's no big. You still have it in you.
Well, yeah. That's a good point, too, though.
Don't feel so damn.
Like, colonize it with who? Because I'm not going to go over there and colonize it. Like, who's going to do it? And that's actually a good point. Like who would do it, right?
Might be nice. Like,
would you do it?
If it was possible. It might make the world a better place. Interesting stuff, Kenrick. I appreciate that. And a nice shout out to Rudyard Kipling.
Kedrick,
awesome.
by the way.
Kedrick? Kenrick is what's written here. And I remember someone called you Kendrick the other day, and I know that's not your name. Kedrick.
Word.
Appreciate your call, man.
Yes,
and read White Man's Burden. All right, man. Call me again.
All right, adios.
Very cool. 888-775-3773. Fascinating stuff. What's our answer? That's an interesting comment Kedrick made. But what is our answer, though? Be fit to be fit, man. Thank you for the super chat. Says, at habanero on my journey to super hots. Wait, what? Did he get me to say something silly? Did he just prank me? At habanero on my journey to super hots. Thank you for your super chat. Be fit to be fit. Appreciate that. Right on. What's up, Mildegrew? Anyways, 888-775-3773. We got more calls. I got Gray out of California. Thank you for your call. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Hey, Nick. What's up? How you doing?
All is well, man. Thanks.
So this is like my second time catching your show, so I'm just kind of getting acquainted with it. But I do notice you talk politics a lot. So
lately I've been speaking a lot of politics.
Okay, so I have a question. I just want to know your thoughts on it. So,
sure.
You're Christian?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so do you believe as Christians we should care about politics?
What does that mean, ask Christians to care about politics? I'll say a tentative yes, just to be just to not be wishy-washy, I guess. But what does that mean? Is it different if you care about politics and if you care about politics as a Christian?
Well, first, what does it mean to care about politics as a Christian? Well,
versus just caring about politics as someone else?
Well, what I'm trying to say is this. It's like, I listen to Jesse, and he says, that there's a path to be right? Like, there's a certain way to be right, and that's the way. And it makes it sound like being right means also caring about politics.
Who makes it sound like that?
Well, whenever Jesse talks about it, like, it's kind of like alluding to, if you're Christian, you should also care about these certain things. Because his show, or Jesse's show, has a lot to do with politics as well.
He does talk about politics. He gives his perspective on how he sees life and what's happening around us. But you're saying, so just to make it clear,
go ahead.
Just to make it clear for my viewers, so we're following here, you're saying that he makes it sound like, in the way he speaks and all that, and how much he speaks about politics, that it's something Christians should care about.
Yeah, that they go hand in hand. Like the right path.
Go ahead.
Consists of forgiveness, returning, and
voting Trump.
Almost like, and politics. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like,
okay. And how does he make it sound like that? What is it that he says that makes you think that?
Well, he's also said it himself. You know that it's a dumb thing to think that as Christians you shouldn't care about politics.
Gotcha.
He says that himself.
I'll say yes to your question. Yeah, I think a Christian now I'm following you. Yeah, a Christian should care, in my opinion. Well, about yes, a Christian should care about politics. We'll just leave it at that. And what do you think? What do you think about that? Should a Christian be involved / care about politics? Pay it any mind?
Yeah. So consistently, it's the battle with myself, which is consists of, should I care? Should I fight? Or should I not do anything? You know what I mean? Like, it's constantly with me. Like, I do, a Bible verse comes to mind when, not a Bible verse, but a Bible story of Jesus when, I think, the people were asking him for, I guess, money or something. And he told them, who does the money belong to? Like, I think I'm just paraphrasing, but he ends up saying, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and give to God what is God's. And I think that's, I kind of, I smoke on that thought and, or on that saying, and I believe like, or in my thought right now, at my age and where I am in my life, I believe like, I just don't see why I should care.
Gotcha. And so you don't see why you should care about politics, but you wrestle with that. For example, that story with Jesus, and you think that story means he's telling you to care or be involved in politics, and you wrestle with that a little bit.
Yes, because like,
and of course, on top of that, what Jesse says.
Yes. So like, when I think about that verse or that little story,
I'll let you answer. Go ahead. And when you think about that story.
Yes. When I think about that story, I think like, I'm not completely familiar with it too much, but I always heard that those sayings of give Caesar what is Caesar's and give God what is God's. And I think that it was like what the people didn't want to hear. They thought they were looking for Jesus to save them from the government, which was Rome, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And they were looking for him to save them from that. But when he came and told them, hey, who does the money belong to?
Totally.
Oh, Caesar. Oh, we'll give it back to Caesar and give God what is God's. So I in my belief, for what I understand, he was drawing a line there that I'm not here to give you more money. I'm not here to give you worldly things. The worldly things belong to the world. And to me, politics is a worldly thing. And it's also a type of outlet for, which I believe, and I'm starting to see in my own life, for angry people.
Totally. Okay, I'm following, man. So let me ask you, do you think in your life is paying taxes, for example, because Jesus was talking about paying taxes, right? With that, render unto Caesar, render unto Caesar what's his.
Yes.
I think he was talking about taxes. I could be wrong, but I believe he was talking about taxes.
Okay.
Do you consider paying your taxes, for example, today in America? Is that taking part in politics, being involved in politics in some shape or form?
Paying taxes, is it involved being in politics?
Would that be part of the politics that you're saying you're thinking you should have no part in?
No.
And why not?
Okay, so I think paying taxes is basically like paying rent. There's not too much. It's basically rent. Taxes is rent to live here.
Okay.
Right?
But why you be okay with that, with that politics and not others?
Well, I understand you're living somewhere you have to pay. That's fine. But
right. It's common sense, right?
Yes.
It's common sense. You got to do what you got to do in the situation you're in. This is how society is built here. You pay rent, you pay taxes, right? It's pure common sense. So I ask you this because I wonder if you think if God, like, let's say, I know we don't know God. Let's not try and speak for God down here, but I like to think of God like a rational father, right? And it's like, for a moment here, if you could humor me, do you think God wants you to not pay your taxes?
As in
today
words,
in America, today, gray California, to pay your California tax. Do you think God would want you? I want my son to be not of the world, so don't pay taxes. What do you think he's thinking?
Oh, okay, so you're saying would God want me to pay taxes here in America?
Yeah. Or would he want his son to not be of the world or something like that?
No, I think he will want me to do the right thing. If somebody's giving you a place to stay, you pay your taxes, you pay your rent. So,
right? It's common sense.
Logically, it's a yes. Logically, it's a yes.
I make this point because that's what Jesse's about. Jesse's about common sense. He may talk about Trump and politics, but you may be misplacing some importance here because he doesn't ever say that's really important at all. These are just the things that are happening in our lives as Americans in our country. And he lived in this country much longer than a lot of us that are listening. And he's seen the country change a lot. And he's got some things to say about that. And he sees a direction here. And he sees a grander thing going on. And he's just, yelling in the wilderness, trying to get people, not really, because he doesn't really care.
Okay.
Right? He's doing his own thing. But I'm trying to paint this picture here that he's really, if you're really paying attention to what he's saying, he's not really about the politics. He's seeing between the lines, and you could do the same in your life. You don't need you could be common sense. God is common sense. You could pay your taxes, and you can be a Christian who is aware about what's going on, yet not too into it like the world, because you know that the world is false. But you're a Christian and American in this country. You know what's going on, and that's totally fine to be aware. It's, in fact, in some cases, it's almost even your duty as a man, right? And if you consider something here, and I'm not saying be all researched and all this like some people online. I'm just saying really just like normal morality and just being aware of what's going on. Joel is a really good example, I think. He always says this thing. He always says, if you ever watch Joel Friday, he always says, you don't even gotta know. He always says, it always cracks me up because you really don't even have to know all the nitty-gritty details to know when someone's evil, when someone's this and that.
So okay.
But that was a side point. You follow me here? Yes, you can be a Christian and care about politics.
I hear that. Okay, so my question is this. We're talking about paying taxes, and that's fine. That has to do with us and our world, right? That has nothing to do with anybody else. So my question is, how do you feel comfortable as an anchor baby talking about immigration?
Okay, fine question. Because let me ask. Well, I was going to do that.
I am one too. So for me to say things like that, it's still.
Have you ever lied?
Yes.
Is lying bad?
Depends.
In general.
Oh, I mean, if you're a liar, lying is bad.
Would you tell your kid or niece or son or something that lying is bad, and even though you did it? If they asked you, hey, is lying bad? If they came up to you and asked you, hey, is lying bad? And even though you've lied before, will you tell them, is lying bad?
Yes, lying is bad.
North is still north. Truth is still truth. And just because my parents did something a certain way, or let's say even if I did it a certain way, maybe this is maybe what I'm about to say sounds way too poetic and Christian-y. And you can give me crap for that. I'll allow you to do that in a moment here. But I've heard this before, that God takes old things, wrong things, and makes them new, makes them good. I think I can be a product of a wrong situation, but I show my appreciation and say the truth no matter what, even if it means that I'm opening the door for a retroactive removal of my citizenship with a removal of the 14th Amendment. In fact, that might even be a good thing. But that might even be the right thing. Hey, look.
For the love of America, you're willing to go back to Canada.
If it has to be that way. Like, that's a really silly, I think it's silly to think in the future like that. But look, think about my life so far. My life has been fine so far. When I found myself alone before 18, jumping around couches and figure out my life, I ended up being fine. God got me through that. And it sounds like wow, Nick, you're so magnanimous. You would go back. I'm telling you, I don't want to. I'm not. Trust me, I don't want to. I don't want to sacrifice. I don't want to be the guy that does the right thing and leads the way so all the immigrants get out. Trust me, I want to be here. But that being said, that's just thinking about the future. Should it come, I think I'll be fine. If I end up somewhere else, God's got me through everything else. And if it comes to that, I think the white people should be able to decide what to do with us. And with you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's how it's going to end up. I doubt it because but I'm just rambling, but I'm being honest, and I hope you understand me.
No, I appreciate that, and I completely understand you, bro. No, I'm just having conversation, you know. I have some thoughts and just like to get them out. You know, I love you guys, what you guys do over there.
Right on, thanks.
I appreciate your show. It's an
man.
outlet
Right
for
on,
people
great.
to speak. You know, how to speak. So it's just some thoughts I had today.
Super cool. Appreciate your call.
You know,
Interesting stuff.
I don't think on it too much. It's just something I thought about today. You know.
Well, thanks for the mental not gymnastics. Just a little. Thanks for the thought-provoking stuff today. Appreciate it.
A little pressure, a little pressure.
Right on, Greg from California. Call me again.
All right, bro. Have a good one.
Nice. 888-775-3773. Zenny says, come back to T-Dot, baby. T-Dot still open arms for you, baby. T-Dot is slang for Toronto, which is further slang for Toronto in Canada, in Ontario, Canada. T-Dot, baby. T-Dot still has his arms open for you. Thank you for the super chat, Carver. Says, this is just for you using that $2 word, magnanimous. Thank you. The always magnanimous and genteel and svelte Carver. I don't know if he's svelte, but he's genteel even when he isn't. Thank you, Carver. Appreciate your super chat and the support. Let me see if I'm missing anything else here. Beef It to Beef It explaining that super chat says jalapeno to serrano to habanero. Next is Ghost. He's working his way up. What are you trying to do? Are you working up a resistance here? Are you preparing for something? Thank you for the super chat, C-Cell. Nicolas, amazing show, homie. Little wave, little sunglasses. Appreciate that. I'm not paying you for genteel, Nick. All right, y'all. You guys cracking me up. Enough. We got something else here. What else do we got? What else do we have here? What else do we have? What do we have? What's our answer? Joel was talking about on his show about our side and what we offer. And that was so deep. Like, what do we offer? We don't offer ish. Like, you got, he was saying, he had this picture on his thumbnail, and it was a picture of Biden. Was it? I think it was Biden and Trump. And they were at odds facing each other. And the title's like, why does evil keep winning? And he didn't mention politics, Biden, maybe a little bit, but it's purely spiritual terms. Evil has all this stuff. It's false. It's a Faustian bargain. It's a false illusion, but they offer you this sex, all this stuff. And you might think that's silly, but you'd be shallow if you didn't see the connection between that and Biden and Trump, that and the home, that and everything. And what's our counter? Our counter. What's our counter? Biden is a demented, he eats ice cream, but we get a cool boss like Trump. And it's like, no, I don't like how he talks. Oh, you can't say that. He touched some wall in Israel. Republicans promote women and are just as compromising as mama, the Democrats. How much did you spend on the Super Bowl? They got Taylor. I had a caller even say, I think, Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl, man. Why can't we go back to the America I used to know when it was just football and bikinis? I don't know what to say. I know I'm just rambling, but let me get it out. And Biden, he's just looking for ice cream. Your wife and kids think you're an a-hole, okay? Winning for conservatives is bikini, America, football. And I get it. Like, I get it because it's like, that means affluence. People leave you alone. It means family and pastimes, America. But how did we get here? Do you know the internal battles that your children are going through today? With their lack of masculinity, manhood, how to navigate things. The internal battles they're going through, I don't know if you have any idea. Lust, sex, drugs, ego. You got to be this. You got to be that. They're blindfolded and they're walking out there and it's rough out there. And they're going to get eaten up by these women. They're going to get eaten up. That's happening. Bond is rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I'm grateful for what I do. Why evil wins. It was an interesting show. You check out Joel Friday TV. But you got to start seeing how it's all connected. How forgiving is connected with your health. That was an interesting episode. Angry, evil people do the bidding of evil, whether they call themselves Republican, Democrat, whatever. The secret of masculinity, it's in you and how it's actually God's nature. And it destroys all depression, destroys all fear, destroys all that crap. All anxiety, destroys it. So anyways, rebuildingtheman.com for more information. I'm a horrible example, but there's an answer, and I don't know the hosts here. They got it. We're spreading the message, keeping it going. You're seeing trans shooting. Joel Osteen Church is a shooting here, a shooting there. Oh, it's a trans person. Oh, it's a Republican conservative guy. They're all sick. We're all sick, and the response is I don't know. I want to say something stupid like going after Bud Light. I know I may be going too hard on your average conservative or something like that, but I'm trying to make a point here. I hope you're following me here. The culture. These women won the culture. Megan Thee Stallion is going to be the presenter at the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. This may be ridiculous. This probably means nothing to you. But there are grand moves in the culture happening. Big moves in the culture happening. You don't realize it. And Megan Thee Stallion is going to be running the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. Maybe we could talk about the significance of it all sometime, maybe even on the show. But first, I got some callers here who've been waiting. Jeff, Louisiana, thank you so much for your call. You're on the air.
How's it going, Nick?
All is well, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Man, this is kind of a stupid thought, but I haven't really thought all through it, done all math stuff. But real quick, we're spending all this money on Ukraine, sending all this money over.
Say that again for me.
We're sending all this money to Ukraine.
Yes.
This bill, if they try and push this bill through now, they're trying to push through. It'll be close to $160 billion. Now, listen to me and just tell me if this makes more sense. You take $160 billion, there's 320 million Americans before this immigration crisis. Okay, you take that $160 billion, you give each American $250 million and make them wait till they're 40 years old if they can draw any out. That gives them, then listen to me real quick. Then from 40 years old to 65, that's 25 years age retirement.
Mm-hmm.
You can draw out $1 million a year. That'd be $41,666 a month.
Doesn't make sense.
That ends homelessness. Nobody's homeless. Nobody's hungry. Nobody's struggling for health care.
Well,
you take the other $40 billion you put on the border walls. But you have to work till you're 40 to pay taxes in.
So you think, I'm following you, man. It's incredible misuse of money. The fact that, like, even RFK was saying that you could build a home for every single homeless person in America with the money we've sent is incredible on its own. I don't know if that's quite the answer, but it is a great metric to trying to, I guess, kind of like really illustrate what that money could have been used for. I think this is a good jumping off point, though. Jeff, what do you think about that? If we actually gave every homeless person in America a home, do you think that would fix the problem?
No, that one, no. Just getting everybody a home starts a home is not going to fix the problem because, like I said, you have to put in initiatives for it. Like if you ever have a home starts a home, guess what? They have a home to go do drugs in.
Right.
Because most homeless people do drugs and do crimes.
Right.
That's why I'm saying. Now, granted, my idea, like I said, I didn't do it. No, just thinking off my head. It's stupid, but what I'm saying is, hey, you have to set boundaries. Like, if you do that, just say my plan. Just say what I just said. If you do that, they have to work from 18 to 40 years old, pay taxes. And if they have to work at McDonald's, they have to work. They have to work until they can draw that money out.
Ooh, Jeff, I'm almost liking your program here. Okay, so you're saying this free home initiative, etc., it can only be done if we force to work these people from 18 to 40.
Yeah, see, why?
And they're forced to work. And you got to work. Yeah, you can have a home. Yeah, you can have these things, but you will work for it, and you will be forced to do so under this.
Yeah, well, I mean, the whatever program you go to, you have to adjust the numbers, but just say what I just said. Give every American $250 million.
I was following what you said. I missed some of it, to be fair. But I got the gist. I got the gist. No, you don't need to say it all again.
Well, I'm saying if you give them that, they can't start drawing that money until they reach 40 years old. Because if you give them $250 million.
Nice. And they're Americans, right? These aren't people coming over.
Yeah. No, not people coming over. American citizens. People are here. That's why I say if you just take the money they sent to Ukraine, you can take half that, do my program. You can take the other half and fix the damn borders.
And you're not allowed to bring guests. If we give them a home, you're not allowed to bring in a whole bunch of there's going to be rules. You can't just have a revolving door of guests, especially women and BS. No, if you're going to have a guest over, it's because that's going to be your wife and you're going to have kids.
Yeah,
those are the rules. What do you think about that?
Yeah, but you're going to have to, like I say, you're going to have to work. You're going to have to work at least. If you want to go to college and waste your money, well, guess what? You can go to college for free, but at the end, we're going to take that money away from you. When you turn 40, we're going to take that money away from you out of what you get back. So it's not a free ride nowhere. If you want to sit in college and sleep all day for 4 years, so you don't have to get a job and work while somebody's in McDonald's flipping hamburgers, you're going to pay for it.
What do you want to call it? The Patriot Plantation, or is that too on the nose?
Man, I don't know, man. I thought about this 2 hours ago. I ain't really thought of the name, but man, I'm just saying, we're worried about so much of these other countries and doing all this crap. Man, they had a news story on last night. Well, I don't know what news it is on somewhere up north. I watch YouTube all the time, but they had a woman up there, or family up there, a white family up in Boston that took in a Chile family. They was feeling so guilty and everything else. They took in a family from Chile and started putting them up with a, how's a migrant thing.
Yeah.
Chile's closer to Antarctica than is America.
What a mess.
They passed 20 million. They passed at least 10 countries, solid countries before they got to America to get here. Man, let me ask you a question. If you decide tomorrow you want to move to the East Coast, do you have the money to just pick up everything and move? Probably not. Say tomorrow you want to move to Virginia tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Do you have the money right now to just pick up and move everything?
Oh, you're asking me? Yeah, I think so. It's not that much, is it?
Oh, okay. Not you, but let's say you go out on the street. You're in LA, in homeless.
Right.
Say you go on the street and there's a homeless guy. Say, you want to move to Virginia? He says, yeah. Does he have the ability to get there tomorrow?
Man, it might be difficult. Yeah, I'm following you though. I don't want to take away from your point. Go ahead.
So who's subsidizing all these people coming from Chile to America that don't have no money, no job, no nothing.
Oh yeah, I don't know. They say these caravans, they seem to be well fed and well organized, and it's definitely an interesting question. I think I saw something on Revolver recently showing the actual pathways that these NGOs and the training material and they give to some of these caravans. It's not all caravans though, from what I've researched and all that. There's also these cartel coyote networks, and in these cases, it's the migrants. They call them migrants. These aliens themselves paying money they've either scrounged up or they remain indebted to some of these cartel networks once they're in America, and so some of that's how that's working. It's an industry. I don't know too much, but
man, the easiest way to answer that question, the most logical answer, is exactly what's happened since Biden got elected. Biden has opened up the border and done everything he can to get everybody over here to pull in fast track for citizenship, so we will no longer have a Republican Party. We will have a Democratic Party from the end of time if Biden gets his way. He's all he's doing is trying to get them over and get them to vote. That's all it is.
Dirty plan.
They don't care if they're from China, Russia, Africa, wherever they're from. It's just keep the Democrats in power so they keep living their lives. But like I said, you see all stuff about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden get millions from Chinese and all that stuff. If you go back to my plan, they will make 100 times the money they already made off of doing illegal stuff. Just like I said, like they said, America first. Worry about Americans first, not everybody else in this freaking world. I mean,
I hear you, Jeff. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I agree.
And man, it's like one last thing I was here. I know you got calls.
No problem.
It's like you see all this stuff. I don't know if you see or not, but when they had the Super Bowl, I didn't watch it because I hate Taylor Swift. I don't like Taylor Swift and hate that crap. But they had a white senator from Tennessee come on there and post on X right after it happened, because nobody's standing for the Black National Anthem, and he come on there and posted. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it's just it's not a good look that nobody stands for the Negro National Anthem in the Super Bowl.
What did you say? The Negro?
Yeah, that's what he said.
I was just wondering what you said. You said Negro, correct?
Yeah, he typed on Twitter, nobody stood for the Negro National Anthem.
Whoa. What the heck? Who cares about that? That's crazy, man.
But that's what's wrong in our country is where, man, everybody's lost their way to just kind of appease everybody. It's just, and it is what it is. Well, man, I'll let you go, man.
No, it's no problem, Jeff. Hey, call me again. Appreciate your call.
Okay, man, have a good one.
Right on. What a mess. What a mess. Doom Jesus. What's up, Doom Jesus? He said, Enga National Anthem. I got clicked. Dang. He said Negro couples light. Lo, what you say? Wait, what you say? I'm going to need you to repeat that, sir. America first. I agree with you, Jeff. Appreciate that, sir. Amazing. What can you do? What shall we do? What shall we do next? I'm going to keep it rocking. Steve, Ohio. Thank you, sir. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Nick. What's going on, man?
All is well. No complaints over here.
That R wasn't that hard, just saying. I didn't even notice.
I almost let it go by.
Well, I mean, hit or miss. I called in today for a kind of my basic understanding, like the message I've received throughout, like listening throughout the years and whatnot.
Right on.
But it could be kind of like hard for some to hear. It's not vulgar or anything, but people get a little touchy when you speak this way.
No problem.
Do you care to hear it?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I called Jesse a long time ago, and I asked him what his opinion was on the second commandment, which is, hold no graven image before the Lord your God. He's a jealous God, whatnot, like that. Jesse nailed it with the explanation. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, because that was something I was struggling with for so long was, okay, now this is where it gets sticky. So if there's only one way to heaven, and it's through Jesus, the Son, like, where am I going with this? Like, it seemed like a gatekeeper. Like, there's only one way you could do it, and it's through me. So what I link that to is, like, okay, if he's the Son of God, then I shouldn't be, like, honestly, no graven image means no image at all. That's my understanding. So it's kind of spread out, too. Sorry to bounce back.
No, try to work it out. We got, I think, a little time.
So I like what Jesse says. I like what he says about Christianity is the best religion on this side of heaven. Like, I love that saying. Because what I'm interpreting from what he's saying is all religion, it's like a stepping stone. It's like the gateway drug. You get hooked on Jesus and then, you're hooked spiritually, but you needed that first hit of Jesus to get you in there. But then it's up to you if you really want to start doing the fentanyl, mixing it with the heroin, and really sinking in to the spiritual aspect. If you feel what I'm saying.
And what would be doing fentanyl in the analogy with Christianity and Jesus?
So going like deeper level than what religion provides. So like the being still and knowing God.
That's heroin.
And that's like, you're already tied off and you're in La La Land.
Well, I'm following your language and what you're illustrating here. Go on.
So the identity thing too. It's what this whole message has helped me do is using the gateway drug, Jesus, to really search for what God had a purpose for me. And since I can hold no graven image, I just have to be still and know God. So this is where it gets hard, is like everyone's like, oh, you don't believe in Jesus or do this first, then you're instantly going to hell. But on the inside, I mean, I feel like, God is the only truth that I would ever know, and everything else is just a story told. So I just got to stick with true north. How do you feel about that?
Let me respond to what you're saying about Jesus here and going deeper into that.
All right.
Whenever I'd hear Jesse, for example, say something like, or even Christians like Jesus is the only way. I never gave it too much thought before. I'll admit, I think I may have even thought, before, that sounds a little exclusive. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, right. Okay, it sounds like a little exclusionary beta. But I wasn't really thinking about Jesus or religion at all back then. But now when I hear that, I don't really think, oh, like you got to know, you got to be in the secret club, and you got to say the words Jesus, and you got to be right. Christian, and you got to know this character from this, you know what I mean? And that he went into the temple, and that he, you know what I mean? Like the way we grew up. And, right. and that never made sense to me. Like, I don't think that's what Jesse's saying. I don't think that's what Christianity's saying. When he's saying like something simple, like the only way to God is through the Son. And then when you break it down and you realize, well, to get through the Son to the Father means to forgive, you realize it's way simpler and way more basic, way more visceral and basic and one-to-one than even that name Jesus in our minds and what we think about that and what that character is. You know what I'm saying? Am I making some sense here? Like,
I couldn't say it better, honest.
It's just broke those words, and this gets into how far away Christians themselves are from understanding anything spiritual. Even those phrases, returning to the Father. It's like, what does that even mean? Returning to, when Jesse broke it down like that and it exploded inside and I knew it was the truth, it means to forgive. It means to just forgive. It means to just love. And I'm like, dang, Jesus tried telling us that. He tried telling us that. He's like, you got to love God and everybody just like you love God. Remember, he said that. He said those are the only commandments, because you're talking about the second commandment and graven image and all that. And I want you in a moment here to tell us what Jesse said about that, because I don't remember. But yeah, you didn't Jesus put it all together in just love? That he made it. The 10 commandments. He completed them by I forget what he said, but you following what he said? Oh, they're all completed by just loving God with all your heart and loving your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah, and all shall be added unto thee.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so I guess, I think I overlook myself because, the only way I truly found God was through Jesus initially, like the gateway drug.
Oh,
so,
I'm following.
Let
me let you talk, my bad.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm
Is
done.
this a little bit like when I heard someone once say to me, you can't try and teach someone about Christianity and God? That's too much. You got to start with just the existence of God. And then when they can admit that God exists, then you can go to Christianity and Jesus and other things. Is that what you're talking about by gateway drug? When you, I guess, I don't know, like Jesus' story or something, you can help me out here. Is that what you mean?
But yeah, I mean that exactly. But then by the end of it, when you start mixing in the fentanyls with the cocaine and you're hanging out with Bill Cosby on his couch and you wake up a week later, you end up in the same spot where you started. So that's where I called you a long time ago. And I asked you, do you think everything beyond being still and knowing is the great deception? So
that is an interesting question, actually, now that I'm understanding you more and more. I feel like I've even thought this, I've even encountered this myself, where it seems like every day some Christian will tell me something like, the Apocrypha says this, or that Jesus said this and that, and it means this. And it feels like every day I'll hear it and go like, that's interesting, but somewhere deep inside I'm just like, yeah, right.
Right.
And I get that reaction a lot with a lot of Christian stuff. And so I don't know if it's what you're talking about, but
yeah, it's the truth.
I wouldn't blame you for being careful. I wouldn't blame you for being careful where you put where you place your belief, including especially Christian-y sounding things.
Yeah, and because I just think it can deter us. The only person that can lead you is yourself, with God being within you. Once we stop looking outward, Jesse just beats us over our head constantly, and it makes sense. Quit looking out, look in, and all the answers will be added.
Interesting, man. Can I ask you one more thing?
Yeah, hit me.
On the gateway drug Christians.
Mm-hmm.
I'm following your analogy. I'm following your analogy now. Have you noticed? And I don't know if this is totally true, but have you noticed that people who, as I'm saying this, I'm realizing I don't really know what I'm talking about. But what I was about to say is, it feels like people who get into God that way. Oh, first you got to teach them that God exists, and then the arguments for God, for an existence of a God, and then the arguments for the existence of a Jesus. I feel like the people who got into it that way, their belief truly is flimsy. But I'm judging. Who am I really talking about, and what do I really? It's very vague right now, but you can respond.
A lot of it's sales. That's all I'm going to say. Like some of the preachers are the best salesmen you'll ever meet, and they'll sell you on an idea.
Yep.
When you walk in a room, either they're going to sell you or you're selling them, and if not, it's just two dudes talking.
Fascinating, man. Yeah, I don't blame you for your carefulness, your care with your belief. Right on, sir. Interesting stuff, though. Thought-provoking.
All right, thanks, Nick. I appreciate you. Hey, great job. Joel, come to Rumble, baby.
Oh, yeah. We need Joel on Rumble. Right on, Steve. Appreciate that.
Do what you want. All right, peace, brother.
Call me again. Very cool. I appreciate the calls here. You guys like the fentanyl, cocaine, sativa, heroin talk with Jesus? Almost the Christians Not the Christians in the chat. They're like, oh no. Oh no. Heroin and Jesus in the same sentence. All the potheads of the world, red and yellow, black and white, they are precious in his sight. Some beautiful haikus. All the potheads of the world, red and yellow, black and white, they are precious in his sight. Maybe not exactly, but hey, it's a haiku. Haiku. I'm just reading chat right now. As we finish off the show, we got a couple of minutes here. Chill with the drug analogies. Druggies use drug-y analogies. Stop judging, you Christians in the chat. Stop with all that judging, you bunch of Christians. Jesus is my gateway drug. Nice. Graven image is the first commandment, actually. Oh, yeah. Oh, we never got to... He mentioned something that Jesse said about graven images. And since he spoke about it at length and we spoke about it there at length, it would have been nice to hear him tell us what it was that he was... What it was that Jesse said about the graven image. Everybody wants to know. Thou shalt not. Thou shalt not. Carelessness. Thank you, couples light. I told you I'm barely monolingual. I tried telling you I'm barely monolingual. That is funny. You guys are cracking me up in my chat. If you guys want to support the show, you can always jump into the various chats here. Rumble, D-Live, Twitch. What's up, Radulaser? How you doing? You can jump in the super chats. You can jump in the chats here, the various chats, and chat away. It's distracting, it's funny, it's insightful, it's everything. It's the snake pit. You got to love it. You can jump in there. If you want to subscribe and follow, that way you don't miss when I'm live and you don't miss when we do Friday Nick streams, you could do that. And if you even if you don't like, there's a recourse for you as well. You can leave a little comment. Leave us a little comment. Help us out. Have love for your brother. Criticize with love or without love. We'll welcome it. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby as well. Appreciate that. Amazing stuff. I got a couple more super chats here as well. Right on. Carver, Birdie Bound Brian, back-to-back super chats here, says, the magnanimous American anchor baby. Thank you, sir, Birdie Bound Brian. And he also writes, the Patriot Plantation, where freedom rings when picks swing. Nice. Saving America, enslaving America, you will be enslaving I don't know. Look, someone else figure out the jingle for me. We're having fun, okay? Chris, man, thank you for the super chat. Little funny character there. Says, not sure what it says, but appreciate the support. Nice. Chris with the super chat. You figure out the jingle, okay? But yeah, enslaving the homeless population with the incentive that they will have a home so that they may raise a family. It says fist bump. Okay, thanks, Chris. Incredible. Incroyable. I think that's everything, folks. We might have to leave this very grand moves in the culture when a whale moves in an ocean, when a blue whale moves in an ocean and makes waves, okay? The anime people, women have won. They've taken over the culture. And it will all go through the filter, the gray goo and it'll make it all into. It'll be ass everywhere. I'm sorry. So we'll have to get into this some other time. The anime world, look, the cultures, grand moves in the culture. You may not even understand what's happening. You might need someone to explain it to you. We'll leave this for another day. Folks, that's enough for me. American Anchor Baby. Appreciate you being with me today. I'll be back tomorrow, noon. We got Manhood Hour on Jesse Lee Peterson, 6 a.m. Well, last hour. We got Hake Report. Don't miss it. Joel Friday on a Wednesday. And American Anchor Baby at 12. All right, y'all. Let me say goodbye. Peace. See you later. And Lunatic 2, bye.